With Halloween fastly approaching here in 5 days, I thought it would be fun to do some top 10 Halloween lists since it is my favorite horror film of all time, and I do have a strong affinity for the series. No matter how hit or miss I might find it, I still love it. I really, really do, even though I might not go all crazy over every single image released and try to make a new video every day on the franchise. No knock to anyone who does. That's just not my style. I have way too many movies that I want to watch and talk about to focus on one single film, one single franchise. That being said, I'm ready to do some lists here in the Halloween franchise. So I'll be doing a few of them, but we'll start here with the top 10 biggest mistakes the franchise has made. Now, this of course is going to be a very subjective list, as is any list you ever hear or see. It is always going to be the opinion of whoever wrote it or whoever compiled it, depending on if it's one or multiple people. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, I have my opinions. There's things that I love in this franchise that other people hate and vice versa. That's fine. So when you make top 10 lists, you have to understand that they're subjective and that they're personal opinions. So shout out to Lee McCoy from Drum Dums, because he's probably going to be the first watch on this thing. That dude loves the Halloween franchise as much, if not even more than I do, because the dude talks about it and even will shoehorn the franchise into videos even if it's not necessary. I get it. I love the Halloween franchise very much, and I love it just as much. I love the first film just as much as anybody. But I didn't really put these in a specific order per se. I just wrote 10 straight down, and I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. And I figure whatever was the first thing that came to my mind is probably number 1. Whatever was the last thing that came to my mind might be number 10. But you could kind of put them wherever you want. I don't really care as far as the numerical order of these. But these are the top 10 things that first came to me. There's probably more, but here's the 10. So number 1 here is stopping multiple times in the franchise, or should I say not stopping multiple times in the franchise when we had good endings to the storyline. So whether or not, because here's the thing when it comes to this list. I know it will come from a hypocritical place in certain areas, because I do like the sequels that came after, some of them. So if in what I say was to have occurred otherwise, like if I'm knocking something and they would have went in a different direction, I wouldn't have got the movie the way it is, the movie that I like, and sequels that then there followed. So I get that. I totally understand it. So I love the series how it stands right now, yes, but I still think these are mistakes that they did. Regardless if I got things I liked out of it or not, is nor here nor there. I just think they're mistakes. So let's clear that up right now. So when people are like, well, but you like that movie, or you like what that spawned thereafter. I agree. I do agree, but I still think it's a mistake. So that said, let's get back to it. They should have stopped multiple times throughout this franchise. So number 1 has the best ending of the franchise, and one of my favorite horror endings of all time, because it's just the boogeyman's still out there. And if that film would have ended, boom, they didn't touch that storyline anymore. If they would have done Halloween 3, Season of the Witch as Halloween 2, and just then there went after, and I do think that may have been successful. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But because it was the third, I don't know if people were like, well, what the hell, man? You made 2 with this guy. Now you're going to try to make something else. Whatever. But as far as the first one goes, on its own, that idea that that dude is still out there, that when you went home that night, and the movie closes out so perfectly, showing every single location from the film, and his breathing is over it like he could be anywhere. That's the scariest fucking ending. That's the scariest way they could have done it. And so The ending of the first one, perfection. They could never have had a better ending. But then thereafter, part 2, Michael's dead. Gone, done, burned to a crisp, done. Storyline's over. Michael is gone. Stop. Stop there. Okay, we brought him back for 4. Jamie Lloyd, twist ending. She comes out. She takes Michael's mantle. Perfect. Done. End. Michael's dead. Jamie was corrupted in some way or another. Boom. She's now, the new Michael per se. Didn't stop there. All right. Fast forward to H2O. Boom. Cuts his fucking head off. Perfect. Don't like the movie? That doesn't matter. It's a fantastic ending. Boom. Michael's dead. Bring him back for resurrection. And even with the Zombies movie, she shoots him directly in the face with a fucking handgun. Boom. Blows his fucking head off. Nope. Still brings him back. I love Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Controversial opinion. I don't really give a shit. But should have been made from a storyline perspective? No. She shot him in the fucking head. He's dead. Okay? So there you go. All right. I think I'm going to move the order of this because I want that to be a good segue into the next one. And that would be making Michael Myers a supernatural entity. Big mistake. Big mistake. Even though I love some of the movies where he is, like Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, it's a very mangled film. It's a mess of a movie. Whether you're talking about the theatrical or the producers, it doesn't really matter. Either way, I still love a lot from it. But making Michael Myers, what was so scary about Michael Myers in the first movie, we're always going to come back to the first movie, but what made him so scary was that he was just a guy. And supernatural entities that can't be killed, a Jason Voorhees or, a Freddy Krueger or something, they lose their impact when we as the audience don't think they have any ability to get out of the situation and defend themselves by possibly killing the killer. If we never have that even as an option, then we start to lose interest and then it just becomes a popcorn flick to watch kids die. You want to root for a character to be able to survive the night, to be able to possibly, overcome and vanquish the killer, the foe in the movie. But if they're an unstoppable killing force, then that takes a lot of tension out of the sequence because you're like, well, she's going to die. I mean, she can't kill him. So who gives a shit? So that's a big mistake in this franchise as well. So making Michael not human anymore, which Loomis always likes to claim, he's not human. He is human. And that was what was scary about him. So, all right. So back down the list. All right. This one's small, but man, I roll my eyes every fucking single time it happens. And it's when I watch, and there's a lot of garbage in this movie, but Halloween 5, giving the cops that silly carnival music when they're walking down the stairs. They're like, wah, wah, wah. What the fuck decision was that? What were they thinking? That whole movie has issues all over the place, but I genuinely cannot come up with a reason why they went with that. So that one's a quick one, but it irritates me so unbelievably bad every single time. I'm just like, what are you guys doing? This is not a fucking comedy. All right, next up. In Halloween 4, and then at 5, but especially in 4, they had an idea of making Rachel's friend, Lindsay Wallace, and one of Brady's friends at the drugstore, Tommy, from Halloween 1. Why they didn't go with this, I have no idea. That would have made sense. That should have been the characters. In addition, and in part 5, Halloween 5, Tina should have been Lindsay Wallace. Why that didn't happen, I don't understand. Because they already had her as Lindsay, and that's her name. Those are their names in the movie, is Lindsay and Tommy. So why not, in part 5, is the girl that was driving them around in the Dodge Dart Swinger not the girl from part... Like, why is this a new character we know nothing about? Who's this Tina girl? I like Tina. I know a lot of people hate her. She's like, you know, the most hated character, one of the most hated characters in this franchise. I shouldn't say the most hated character. I think we all know who that is. But Tina is absolutely hated in the franchise. So why wasn't Lindsay Wallace used? That I don't understand. So Tommy Doyle, I don't know what exactly they could have done with him. He could have been Rachel's boyfriend instead of Brady. I don't know. But regardless, having those characters in the movie and not actually making them the characters, weird. I know that they had like a really short amount of time to finish the script and make the movie, and they went with that idea, but then they abandoned it. But in part 5, I just don't see any reason not to make Lindsay the friend instead of Tina. I just don't get that. Another big mistake that Halloween 4 or 5 made, it's not even on this list, but in addition to that, this should be on the list, so somewhere in here. So I guess it's going to be 11. Killing Rachel early in the movie. She should have been the final girl with Jamie. Kill her if you want at the end, or I guess. But doing her like that, I get you're trying to be edgy and you're going for the psycho route. Oh, we're going to kill our, one of our main people. It'll be shocking to the audience. But it's the way it's done too. If it was like a big heroic death, it's just a shitty way to take her out. It is such a mistake. So Halloween 5 has so many issues, but there you go. Anyways, all right, moving on. Next up. I'm not even giving numbers, so I guess this should just be my biggest problems with the Halloween franchise, but where would we be at here? This is number fucking 6 or something. Anyway, the Halloween title on Halloween 2018. Not giving it a subtitle. Why? Why name it Halloween? How many times do they fucking have to do this? We have 3 films in this franchise called Halloween. 3! That's insane. Why not give it a subtitle? Halloween Returns. Simple. Boom. Done. Now you don't have to say Halloween 2018. Oh, Halloween. Which one? 1978? No. 2007? No. 2018? Yeah. Do I really have to put the year on it every single time? I know that's nitpicky, but come on, man. Every time you talk about it, you have to call it Halloween 2018. Why? Halloween Returns. Simple. Or some other subtitle if you got a better one. I'm fine. The next one isn't... Man, I was really worried they were going to call the next one Halloween 2. I would have fucking lost it. I would have lost it if they did that. Such a mistake, though. Just give it a fucking subtitle. Anyways, moving on. All right. Halloween H2O abandoning the storyline of 4 through 6, not acknowledging it at all. It could have been so easily addressed. And supposedly they did record and film some dialogue where she mentioned something of the sort. But just a fucking mere mention of... I left my first daughter behind because I thought it would be better, but while on the road, I got pregnant with my son, and I felt bad always abandoning her. While she's talking to her therapist, she's dating a fucking therapist, or I don't know if he's a therapist, but he's like, I'm a really good listener. So whatever he is, she's having a therapy session with him, so to speak. And in that moment, she reveals that she's, Laurie Strode and blah, blah, blah. In that, she could have been like, and the reason I also drank is because I abandoned my daughter. And she died. And no one knows how it happened. but I think it was Michael. Simple. Like a fucking 2-minute line. So why that didn't happen, I'll never understand. But anyways, moving on from that. And Jamie Lee Curtis coming back multiple times. This was a mistake for me. And this is where I'm saying this is my opinion. I do not think Jamie Lee Curtis should have came back for Halloween 2018. Halloween Returns is what I'm going to start calling it. Shouldn't have come back for that. She already came back. She already did her revamp. She already abandoned storylines. Like, they brought back Jamie Lee Curtis for H2O and were like, fuck 4 through 6. Then they kill her off in Resurrection. Okay, there she is. She's gone. She's done. All right, so we're going to revamp the series again. We're going to bring Jamie Lee Curtis back again. And this time, we're going to abandon every film but the first one. That's asking a lot. That's asking a lot, A. And B, almost every issue I have with Halloween 2018, and you can watch my full spoiler discussion on it if you haven't, or if you're interested. Almost every fucking problem I have with that movie is because they had to shoehorn Laurie Strode in there. But also taking away the brother-sister angle. So they kind of tied their hands with that. And they didn't allow themselves to just do whatever they wanted. They had to always bring it back to Laurie versus Michael. How do we make this happen, but then also take away the sister-brother thing? How do we do this? And the whole film suffered because of it, in my opinion. So bringing her back for this movie and this new franchise was a huge mistake to me. I would have loved to see it go in a different direction, but that's not. I had originally envisioned that it was gonna take place in the 80s, shortly thereafter the first one. But it is what it is. It exists, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and cry and whine that they didn't do this, because I'll take the next movie, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. Like, I'll be there opening night, and I'm sure I'll really enjoy things about them, and I'll watch them multiple times throughout my life, and I'll support the franchise. But these are still mistakes for me. Anyway. All right. Next up, one of the biggest mistakes, if not the biggest mistake ever. Halloween Resurrection. The film's existence at all. Period. They have that perfect ending. We'd already talked about that. But the entire film is an abomination. Sorry, Tony, but it's true. Okay? So I don't know exactly what to say about it. Everything about Resurrection is horrid in every imaginable way. So I can't say much more than that. Just them making it after H2, after that freaking decapitation, people were really happy. I hated H2O, but a lot of people liked it. It was a good farewell, but of course it made money. So they were like, all right. And as soon as they announced Resurrection, I was like, that wasn't Michael. That's what they're going to go with. He somehow, somebody else had a Michael Myers mask on him and wasn't able to speak. It makes no sense. It makes 0 sense. None, 0. So it's fine. It doesn't matter. Anyways, moving on. All right. Last 2 here. Number 2, is Rob Zombie's White Horse. In Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Love Halloween 2. I've said this. I think it's one of the best slashers ever. You can fucking hate me all you want for that. I've gotten plenty of it, especially on my 3 from Hell review. I mentioned that I loved it in there because I wear my opinions strong and I don't care. And man, have I gotten blasted in there. But I expected it, and that's okay, because I want to line up with the right people. I'm not here to fucking please everybody. That's not the intention of my channel. I'm not here to jack people off and to be like, hey, I want everyone to love me. Fuck that. I want to have like-minded people who I line up well with so that I can have a discussion with them and also recommend them movies that they can trust from somebody that they match up with. So there you go. Anyways, the White Horse thing, this was purely a way to get his wife into the movie. I will not hear anything else otherwise. I love the movie, but the White Horse thing is there completely to get a reason to have his wife in this movie. Which I thought, if he really wanted to do that, he could have just had flashback sequences where she came back to visit him more often. Another big mistake in that movie was not having the original actor play the kid. We could have suspended disbelief. I don't really care. And to defend something that would make this list, because people are going to be in the comments, oh my God, why is this not in the list? This is one of the biggest mistakes ever. I actually am completely fine with it. In fact, I love it, which is Michael talking at the end of Halloween 2. I don't have any issue with it because it's Rob Zombie's Halloween. In that version of Halloween, this is not John Carpenter's version, remember. This is Rob Zombie's version. After Michael kills Judith and his stepdad and her boyfriend and everybody, he talks for a long period of time to Dr. Loomis. That's a completely different version of the events of Halloween. As soon as Michael kills Judith, he never speaks a single word again. But in Zombie's version, he talks and he talks and he talks and he talks to where he's finally like, you know what? No one's listening to me. No one's hearing what I have to say. This is how I feel. You're not fucking hearing it. You're not letting me out of here. You're making me feel like a monster. I am a monster. And then he just goes silent. And he blames Loomis for all of this. Like, he hates Loomis. He puts all of his anger into Loomis. And so he has this total fucking breakdown at the end where he screams, die. Which I love. I love that he hasn't spoken, 20 years or whatever, 15 years or whatever. And then Loomis gets him so enraged that he actually speaks for the first time. I love that. I don't know what the fucking problem is. Because Michael Myers never spoke in Carpenter's version. He's not allowed to ever say a single word. That's like blasphemy. Get the fuck out of here. People are such strong traditionalists that they can't look past those things and actually see what makes sense. So, go ahead, blast me in the comments. I don't give a fuck. I have my opinions. I'm sticking to them. All right, so the White Horse thing, totally injected just to put his wife in the movie. And it's one of the many reasons people don't like the movie. And I get that reason. I get that reason because it's so forced. It's so, what the fuck? What were you thinking? What is this idea? But he tried to make it his own, and he went for something original, I guess. But as I said, I don't see it that way. I see it as, I want to put my wife in this movie. I want her to be a character that actually pushes the plot forward as opposed to flashbacks. I want her to be a central part of the film, a driving force to the movie. How do I do that? Well, all right. How about she's a ghost? And then it's like, in the family's mind, blah, blah, blah. No, bad idea. Bad idea. But I will still defend the movie to death. I don't care. All right, last one. The biggest mistake in the franchise. Making Michael Myers and Laurie Strode brother and sister. So I was happy that they went with the idea of taking that away in Halloween 2018, Halloween Returns. Yeah, okay. I like it, but why bring her back? Like, you didn't even have to address the brother-sister thing. Just don't bring her back and completely go with the new storyline, new people, new characters, but whatever. So they brought her back and they took away the brother and sister thing. But so I'm glad that they did that because I do think that's the biggest mistake that this franchise made. It makes no sense at all. It makes no sense, and it completely takes away from what I personally took from the first movie. And that is that Laurie Strode was the first person that broke ground on his home. He went home and he's sitting in that house, and then boom, this girl who walks up, who's around Michael's age, what he would have been, he's 21, she's 17, it's not that big of a difference. He looks out at her and he becomes obsessed with her. And so he follows her around and he just stalks her. And then he sees Annie hanging out with her and he sees Linda hanging out with her. So he goes off and he observes them. It's just random. It's just because she just so happened to be there. The fact that Michael Myers had a sister that would have been 4 years old when he committed those murders, and Loomis doesn't know about her, really Michael Myers' doctor, Dr. Loomis, whose whole life revolves around Michael Myers, his obsession. The records were sealed. Bull, how? How did Dr. Loomis not know that Michael Myers was Laurie Strode's brother? That's fucking impossible. That's fucking impossible. It's outrageously stupid. And as I said, it takes away from what's set up in the first movie, of it just being a random attack, it just being a girl walked up, wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. And he just stalks her and he kills her. It's terrifying. So there you go. Anyways, I know that's not a traditional proper top 10 list and how they're usually done on these things, but that's not me. That's not me. You're never going to get the typical shit with me. So let me know what your top 10 biggest mistake lists would be. I'm sure the talking thing would be in there, and that's fine. I'm not going to berate you for thinking that. I'm really not. Although I think I already did, right? Like, traditionalists, people are stupid. I guess I kind of already did. I don't know. Whatever. Put it in there. It's fine. It's your opinion. Tell me what an idiot I am. I am an idiot sometimes. That's fine. We can all be idiots at times. But this is my opinion on the Halloween franchise. The biggest mistakes this franchise made. You know, I could have thrown in Halloween 3 and, you know, either not going forth with that idea, but it wouldn't have made money. I mean, the third one bombed and was panned. So would I have loved to have seen them go off in that direction and continue to keep making anthology-based movies set on Halloween? Fuck yes. That would have been awesome. It could have been a limitless, you know, sequel potential that never got stale or old because there were completely new stories every single time. So I think it would have worked. I think it could have possibly worked today. I think that with the internet and everything, and people are a lot more savvy to those kinds of things now. But then, you know, I just don't think people really understood. And that's a shame because I love Halloween 3 so much. But yeah, I would love to have seen what Halloween 4 would have looked like if Halloween 3 would have worked. What would have been the next story? Does anybody know that? What they would have been working on? But anyways, another big mistake was the masks. I mean, it wouldn't have made any sense of how Michael could have got a mask that looked exactly like the first one. I mean, why would the fucking, the drugstore in town have a Michael Myers mask? You would think that would be like banned paraphernalia. But regardless, if it's going to be a mask that's like the first one, why not just make it look exactly like the first one? Because that's the mask as we know it. So the one in 4, the one in 5, they're so bad. They're so, the one in 7, oh my God. The one in 8 is horrid. I actually like the one in 6, but the one in 4, 5, 7, and 8 are dreadful. Just fucking dreadful. And why? Oh, another big mistake. Why did they bring Nick Castle back instead of Dick Warlock? Why? Why is it Nick Castle the killer? I don't care what reasons. I don't care if he was off directing this or that, or I don't care. I don't give a shit. He could have taken a couple fucking days. I mean, how long did they shoot Halloween? How many scenes is Michael really in that he couldn't have played him there? I could go on for days. So I'm just going to end it here. But what I want to hear what your list is, and I'll see you tomorrow. Adios.